Theodor Adorno was a German philosopher, sociologist, musicologist, and cultural critic. He was born on September 11, 1903, in Frankfurt, Germany, into a wealthy and cultured family. His father, Oscar Wiesengrund, was a Jewish wine merchant, and his mother, Maria Calvelli Adorno della Piana, was an opera singer. Adorno was a gifted student, excelling in philosophy and music from a young age. Adorno studied philosophy, sociology, and music in Frankfurt and Vienna. He was deeply influenced by German idealist philosophers like Immanuel Kant and Hegel, as well as Karl Marx and Freud. In the 1920s and 1930s, he became associated with the Institute for Social Research in Frankfurt, which later became the Frankfurt School of Critical Theory. When the Nazis came to power in 1933, Adorno, like many Jewish intellectuals, was forced to leave Germany. He spent time in Oxford, England, before moving to the United States, where he worked at the Princeton Radio Research Project and later at the University of California, Berkeley. During this time, he collaborated with Max Horkheimer and others to develop critical theory, which examined how culture, media, and capitalism shaped society. After World War II, Adorno returned to Germany and became a leading intellectual in post war Europe. He was a prominent critic of capitalism, mass media, and modern culture. He died of a heart attack on August 6, 1969, in Switzerland. Adorno's writings cover a wide range of topics, including philosophy, sociology, music, and culture. His work, Dialectic of Enlightenment, co authored with Max Horkheimer, explores how reason, which was supposed to bring human freedom, was instead used to justify oppression. They argue that the Enlightenment led to modern capitalism, which manipulates people through mass media and consumer culture. Minima Moralia, Reflections from Damaged Life, published in 1951, is a collection of philosophical reflections written during Adorno's time in exile. It criticizes modern society for its dehumanizing effects and argues that individuals are losing their ability to think critically. The Authoritarian Personality, published in 1950, is a psychological and sociological study on the rise of fascism. The book examines how personality traits influenced people's susceptibility to authoritarian leaders. Negative Dialectics, published in 1966, is Adorno's most complex philosophical work, which challenges traditional ways of thinking. He argues that philosophy should not seek absolute truths but should always remain critical and open to contradictions. Aesthetic Theory, published posthumously in 1970, is a major work on the philosophy of art. Adorno argues that true art should change the status quo and resist being turned into a product of mass consumption. Adorno's ideas are complex, but some of his concepts make significant contributions to philosophy and critical theory. Culture industry. Adorno and Horkheimer argued that modern mass media, films, television, music, advertising, is not just for entertainment, it is a tool used by capitalism to control people. They called this the culture industry. Instead of encouraging independent thinking, mass produced culture turns people into passive consumers. Popular music, Hollywood movies, and advertisements are designed to distract people from real social problems and make them accept the status quo. Negative dialectics. Traditional philosophy often looks for absolute truth. Adorno disagreed. He believed that reality is full of contradictions and that we should always question what we think we know. His idea of negative dialectics means that philosophy should focus on what does not fit into neat categories rather than trying to create perfect systems of thought. The authoritarian personality. Adorno was interested in why people supported fascism and dictators. His research in his work, The Authoritarian Personality, showed that people with rigid thinking, strong respect for authority, and deep prejudices were more likely to support authoritarian leaders. He argued that education and critical thinking could help prevent such tendencies. Adorno believed that true art should challenge society, not just entertain. He saw modern pop culture as a way to keep people distracted and obedient. For him, great art, like the works of Beethoven or avant garde literature, should make people uncomfortable and force them to think critically about the world. Critique of enlightenment and rationality. Adorno and Horkheimer argued that enlightenment, which emphasized reason and science, did not always lead to human progress. Instead, reason was often used to justify control and domination. For example, capitalism and industrialization, which were supposed to improve lives, instead created economic inequality and wars. They warned that society must be careful not to use reason as a tool for oppression. Theodor Adorno's work remains highly influential in philosophy, sociology, cultural studies, and critical theory. His critiques of capitalism, mass media, and authoritarianism continue to shape discussions on power, culture, and society. While his ideas are complex, they offer important insights into how modern life is shaped by hidden forces that limit freedom and independent thought.